how did we make that bottom call on Bitcoin? Watch to the end to find out. Guys, welcome to Empire Trading Academy. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you have not already. Let's get right into this. So again, guys, watch until the end. We'll let you know exactly what we saw going on here to let you know that we were looking at this as a local bottom. But first, let's go ahead. Let's look at the charts. We're going to look at on-chain data. So first, we took this bounce off of this ascending trend line that we've been looking at during this entire structure here. Okay, we got the bounce off of here, got a pump, and now we're still in this rising wedge. Okay, so we're looking at this right now as a rising wedge. We know that that is a either a bearish continuation pattern or a bearish reversal pattern. Okay, in this case, it would be a bearish continuation pattern in a further downtrend, right? So we have a downtrend here. We have a correction in the form of a rising wedge, which typically would break out to the downside, right? And so you would have something like that, right? Okay, that's the higher probability. Could we break out to the upside, breaking past our big $45,000, $46,000 supply zone? Absolutely. Okay, but the higher probability is to the downside, and so that's what we're looking for. Now, also something that we want to take notice of, and one of the biggest, really the only indicator that we use to trade on top of price action is RSI, and specifically using divergences on the RSI. So, and again, guys, remember divergences are just basically the RSI is diverging or doing something different than what price action is doing. So in this example, what we see is we're going to ignore. So if we're looking at our lows here, we have a low here, a higher low, and a higher low, right? And that's exactly what's occurring on the RSI. So there's no divergence there. We have a low here, a higher low, and a higher low, right? So no divergence on the RSI. However, if we look at the tops, right? So we have a high here, okay? Basically a same high, okay? And a same price high. So these are all flat. However, if we look at the RSI, we have this slight divergence, okay? So where we have these lower highs on the RSI, okay? So flat or could be higher highs, right? In a different circumstance, but lower highs on the RSI, giving our indication that these subsequent higher highs or at least flat highs on price action are weakening. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. And so we have that in a bearish continuation pattern. Okay, and so we're definitely still bullish. Okay, we need to flip this 46. I would want to see 46 and with a strong bounce on volume off of this level in order for us to turn bullish. But you guys know that for those of you who have been watching our channel. All right, so that's what we're looking at on the daily, guys, right? We got the pump. Okay, we're going to be looking at this as resistance. We're still looking at this ascending trend line and ultimately a support level or demand level at this $34,000, $33,000 zone. Okay, so technically we're still trading in this range. All right, and we want to flip these areas in order to look for our next move. Okay, but we're here. Now, if we look at the weekly, okay, if we look at the weekly, again, where we're at and what we're still looking for, guys, is this move or this level here. Okay, you know that we've been watching this descending trend line, right? Here, resistance, resistance, support, resistance. And then here we've been watching especially closely. And what you'll notice is even on this week here as well, big selling coming in, big selling pressure at these levels, okay, by these wicks, and push every single week has been pushed underneath this descending support level or this descending trend line. Okay, so this has been absolutely massive, right? Selling pressure every single week, pushing underneath this level, okay, in this descending trend line. So once again, on this, we have a little bit more than 4 days left in this week. Okay, we'll see what happens again. All right, keep in mind, we're in this bearish continuation pattern. Okay, this rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. Okay. And so we'll look to see, are we going to get throughout the rest of the week? Are we going to test this $46,000 level again? And then bears come in, sellers come in and push this back underneath this trend line. This is what we're going to be watching. Okay. It's possible that this is a final test of this level before breaking out to the upside. Or are we going to see a break to the upside and bulls start to take over? Keep in mind, overall macro conditions of other financial markets as well, the economy, right? All of those things are definitely not bullish. Okay. But you never know, right? And we never know. And that's why we primarily trade charts and price action, because this is the only sure way to know exactly what's going on, is because the charts can tell us exactly what the market is thinking. Okay. And so we play each and every level, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. We're almost to how we knew that this was going to bounce off of this level, but just a couple more things. Okay. Keep with us, and you're not going to want to miss the end. Okay. Supply per whale, on-chain data, bulls, right? Different animal, whales, buying just slightly. Okay. Picking up on this dip just slightly. We'll continue to monitor that. Okay. Nothing really big here after this big sell-off. Okay. Second, short-term holder supply. We're looking at the 6 months. This is the last 6 months, and they are continually starting to push this up. The latest move here, right, with our push up to 42,000 now. Obviously, if you look at the metric, short-term holders are primarily pushing that up. Okay. And remember, this is a very, very important metric that we're watching now, because this is basically these short-term holders, these retail sellers are the ones that are FOMOing in and panic selling. Okay. And so they're really pushing these big parabolic moves when we're in bull markets, and then taking us into the bear market as well. Right. So if we just zoom in just a little, okay. Right. So 2017, 2018, short-term supply, retail traders metric going up, and they're pushing this move up. Right. Bear market, start to get into the bear market because they are panic selling, right? Bottom of this metric, bottom of the bear market, right? So those things coincide. Some chop throughout the bear market, right? And then we get again in 2021 top, right? Short-term holders pushing that price up, and panic selling all the way down. And what was an anomaly for this market is that we got this push up from long-term holders, hodlers, right? And bigger players pushing the price up to retest the high and just pushing just slightly past it, right? Without any sort of retail short-term holders getting into the action, pushing that up. And that's why, in my opinion, we never got a real, parabolic move on Bitcoin, right? In the second part of this. Okay. And so this is what we're going to be watching very, very closely. Is this going to start to continue to push up, and we get the short-term holders, retail traders FOMOing in? Okay. And that's just going to push the price up. Right. And again, in my opinion, I do believe that we see further downside. However, I do not believe it's going to be very difficult, right, to see very, very, very much lower, because we're already at, let's say, between 33 and 40,000, right? With this metric already down at these lows. Okay. And so we're not going to get these big sell-offs into the bear market because we don't have anybody to panic sell. Right. So hopefully that makes sense. So it'll be really interesting. Things are definitely changing for these markets, guys. We still think that we're in a bear market until we flip that $47,000 level. But that's what we're looking at there. Okay. Hodler net position change. These guys are buying like absolute crazy. Hodlers, long-term holders, they're looking at this $40,000 area, right, as a great opportunity to buy. And so they're buying like crazy. However, do not look at this metric for price action. Okay. We'll say short-term price action, short to medium term, right? Because if we look, we just go back, right? This here, they're buying like crazy during this entire time, right? This is the bear market. This was the bear market, right? And so they're just looking at, hey, we're dipping, right? We're off the highs, the highs of the bull market. We're buying at these relatively cheap prices. And so for long-term holders and hodlers, who they're not worried about tops and bottoms, it is a smart strategy, right? Because all these guys that are buying in here, right? You're looking at a $9,000 Bitcoin, right? $9,000 Bitcoin, $7,000 Bitcoin, right? And we're at here now at 42,000, right? These guys are holding long-term hodlers. They're golden, right? As long as they have diamond hands and they can hold, right? And they hold for a long period of time. Okay. But my point is that because they're accumulating right now has absolutely no bearing on whether or not we're going up in short-term price action or not. Okay. Last on-chain data, guys, we're looking at stock to flow ratio. So again, remember, stock to flow, in my opinion, still intact. We're not more than 2 standard deviations away from the model. And according to the stock to flow model, we're in this dirty green, right? Dirty green, all bear market territory. Okay, historically, according to the number of days until the next halving of Bitcoin, we're in a bear market. Right. And the only thing, you've heard us say this before, the only thing that has changed on this, guys, is the fact that we didn't get a parabolic move. And that was because of, no, I don't think it was because of miners leaving China. I believe that, possibly it played a part. But I believe it was because of bigger institutions getting in slightly before the top, right? Taking their profits, selling at the top of this distribution, selling here, okay, creating this distribution top, and then we see further downside. And remember that crypto and Bitcoin, definitely up until now, has these moves happen because of FOMO, right? We just looked at short-term holders pushing that price up into, the euphoric stage where people think that it's going to go up forever. But when you get the amount of volume that the bigger players are dumping onto the market, that plays with the price. Okay, I'm not going to call it market manipulation. It's just because of the volume, that's what happens to the price of Bitcoin, right? And they slow that train down, right? And we see it in the form of a distribution top, and that just brings the FOMOing to a halt. And so we never got that euphoric stage because we have the bigger players dumping. And therefore that plays on the psychology of all the retail and the short-term traders, right? It plays with their psychology and their emotion. And so there's no more euphoric phase. And so that's the only thing, in our opinion, that has changed in this market, right? And so again, historically, we're in this bear market still until we flip those key levels. All right, guys. So what we saw yesterday around noon, 12:30, we said market is definitely changing. Possible local low is on. Okay, and that was right here. Okay, that was right here. So right at our bottom. Okay, first, how did we know? Okay, well, we get this kind of accumulation zone here at support, right? So remember our ascending support level, that's part of our rising wedge. Okay, so we get these, we're starting to get these on the hourly. Okay, we're getting this some sort of accumulation where we get these lower lows, right? We get this squeeze below support, and then we start to put in these higher lows. Okay, now, if you look, remember the divergences, what we were talking about is the basically using the RSI with divergences is the only indicator that we use to trade. We have a low here. Okay, we put in the low at here. We have a lower low. We have another lower low and another lower low. However, on the RSI, we have all these higher lows on the RSI. Okay, giving us an indication that, hey, this downward train is coming to a halt. The selling is weakening. And then we start to put in these higher highs. Okay, that's a big way that we determined, hey, this is probably our reversal point. Okay. The second thing is that on lower time frames, like the 30, 15, and even 5 minute, when we are doing our short-term trades for the past 2 days have the setups that have been working, right? They have not been going according to or following the same patterns that they have in this downtrend. Okay. And so when price action starts to deviate from what has been happening, okay, in a downtrend or in an uptrend, chances are things are starting to reverse. And so you put all of these things together, guys, and you go ahead and you come up with your thesis. And so our thesis, because of all these things, was that a reversal was on, and this was our local support, right? And so that's exactly what we got. Right? We got this big move up. We're now at 42,000, consolidating at 42,000, right? And so price action, guys, is the most important factor. If you look at our charts, okay? If you look at our charts, yeah, it looks a little bit messy right now just because of the video. But if you look at our charts, we'll go ahead and hide this one because this is kind of... that's just long-term, really, really macro, right? We're still watching it. If you look at our charts, guys, there's nothing on them, right? There's nothing on them. You have this basic structure where we have these trend lines drawing a rising wedge, okay? And we have basic supply and demand levels and some kind of mid-range trading range levels. That's it. And then we have our RSI, okay? That's it. That's absolutely it. And everybody has a different trading style. Okay, but that's absolutely all you need. And price action is the absolute, it's the king. It's really the only thing you need to be able to trade. Everybody has a slightly different technique on what indicators they like to use. But if you see anybody that has a bajillion things on their chart using to trade, where they have, 19 different indicators up here and no real trader trades like that. Okay. And you absolutely do not need all of that to be able to trade. Okay, guys, just kind of went on a little rant there, but keep it simple. Keep it simple. Okay. And the simpler that you can keep it, find a strategy that works for you, find a pattern that you feel confident and consistent in trading, and just trade that. Okay, be patient, wait for your setups. And I promise you, if you continue to work on your trading and put as much time and energy as you would if you were a professional athlete, anything, right? You can get it. All right. Awesome, guys. This is what we think Bitcoin's doing. And if you guys have any questions, let us know. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe if you have not already. And we'll see you in the next video.